Oh, there you go, bit of Kenny Thomas. Right, we're going live this morning to America, to Scott Aaron, to Craig and Jenny. Hopefully it's warmer there. Apparently it's about minus 143 this morning.
Good morning, Dave.
How are you?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
Well, we're sat here with antifreeze in our underpants and socks at the moment, me and Mr. Grant James. It's absolutely freezing. I don't know what it's like over in the States this morning.
Hey, aren't you guys like going to get snow or something this weekend? Or
well, it's forecast for it being bad here in the UK. I mean, it's like everywhere's shut down. They're all. If we were in the UK today, we wouldn't be here. All the schools, no one's in schools, no kids are in schools. So you can imagine the pandemonium where the parents have gone to work and left the kids at home. That's it. Look after yourself today. You can imagine people's houses, can't you, with all the kids at home and having their friends around. Wait, come round to ours. There's someone here. I mean, nothing left.
Well, I'm really glad you're not in the UK, so we can all be together this morning. How about that?
Right. I know. Thank God for that. Yeah. You see that? Well, is it bad over there at the moment?
What's that?
Is the weather bad there? Is it cold, or is it is it just turning into a nice spring day?
It's perked up a little bit, which is nice. I mean, it's we got sunshine yesterday, and it gets you ready for spring because I mean we've been in this dismal winter for a couple of months, and it's time to let's get going. And
we even got buds on the trees. How about you up there? And you're closer to Philly, Scott. You have buds on the trees up there?
It's starting to happen. It's going to be close to 60 today. So it's already 40 degrees this morning, and it's 6 a.m. So that's never a bad thing.
Yeah. How about this, David? You got 3 of us from Philly on this morning.
I know. It's good. Well, I went over there about 15, 16 years ago, and I'll never forget how high the pavements were in Philadelphia because I nearly broke my tooth on one. It was that high. Trying to get up on it. It was enormous. Nothing like the pavements in the UK. What the sidewalks? That's it. Sidewalks, completely different word, isn't it?
So I got to ask you, David, did you see the pictures of Scott?
I did.
Yeah.
Me and Grant's just having a look now.
I was thinking about you.
Grant's just looking at his thong, saying he's got one exactly like that in brown fur.
You keep telling us that, you want to get in that Speedo this summer. So, I figured you would really appreciate those pictures of Scott.
Well, I'll just put you on to him. You can say hello to him. Say good morning this morning, Grant, to everybody.
Good morning, everybody in Philadelphia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're all looking shiny and spotty on you look great white teeth, great brown trim, and it's all looking cool on the old internet picture.
If it was on video or film this morning, it'd be like Dynasty.
See, we got to get us all on TV, and then this can be a lot of fun.
I know. Absolutely. Well, the thing is, the other thing, before we go any further, I've got to tell you that I can't type to you this morning because we got mouse problems. My mouse won't work.
You have mouse problems?
Yeah, not mouse as in, an animal. Me keyboard mouse has packed up on me. So if you're wondering what song we're going to play, it's a free-for-all. I'm going to surprise you because I can't let you know what it is.
Oh, right, okay.
So I just need to say that we're going to go to music, and then you're going to take us there.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone's going to go, I wonder what it is next.
Mystery music. We have this morning is Mystery Music Day.
It could be a start of things to come. That if one thing breaks down, I hope nothing else goes west on me this morning. I reckon it's the cold. I reckon everything's freezing up.
Well, I'd rather it be that mouse not working instead of I thought you really meant you had mice problems.
No.
You had little rodents running around, and I thought maybe because of your new diet that you were giving them all of the cheese, David.
I tell you what, even Mr. James, right, because of you, even Mr. James, when he turned up this morning, he said, tell everybody what you said this morning when you came in.
He said, you've lost a bit of weight, you're looking good.
And then he kissed me and gave me a hug. Then he kissed me and gave me a hug, which surprised me.
That's a lie.
Yeah, he's surprised. Never mind. I'm not going anywhere.
We'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone.
No, but seriously, it's I'm looking a bit, because years ago, very much like Scott, I was there pumping iron for I don't know how many, 5 nights a week, and then 6. I was training for the London Marathon at one stage, and did 6 miles a night and a 20-mile run on a Saturday, and I was, fit as a fiddle. And then when you stop doing that, all of a sudden you get in the weight round your stomach and you think, where's that coming from? And because you're not burning it off as much, and then I thought, right, got to do something about it here. Still got the muscle memory, but the stomach was getting a bit bigger. So I thought that's when I said to you, I need to get on this whole fitness regime. And Mr. James noticed this morning my svelte figure.
I'm loving it.
That's good.
Isn't it funny how, muscle memory, doesn't matter how good that muscle memory is, when the belly's in the way, it's really hard to do it.
Oh, yeah. There's no way. I mean, I'm there doing God knows how many I mean, I don't know what Scott does for his abs, but I was killing myself doing up-team variations of sit-ups for years and years, which did the job, but not to the extreme where, that Scott's got to, obviously. But I was just doing it for soccer. But,
what's your take on that, Scott? I have a feeling you're going to tell David one of the same things we have, which is a lot of it's nutrition as well.
Yeah, now being out of it, as far as competing wise, it's 80% nutrition. You can't. I mean, they tell you all the time you can't out train a bad diet, and I don't work out nearly as intensely as I used to, just because I'm in protection mode for my body. But I still eat clean. I still eat very healthy, but I still live my life. I love red wine. I love hamburgers with eggs on top, and I'm not going to deny myself that. But I do make it a requirement to work out.
Jenny's just passed out when you've said that now, because that's like
I was all
like
with him on the
swearing
red
at her.
wine, and then he went to the meat and eggs. Oh, my stomach turned.
Well, we've all got that one thing that it's like no matter how healthy we eat, we have to have it every once in a while, and it's okay.
Yeah, your body just tells you what you want, and again, it's all about. It's the compounded effect. It's
That's right.
When you're consistent with being healthy, you can afford those quote unquote cheats where if you didn't work out and you didn't maintain a healthy diet, they would affect you in a much greater way. So I've learned that work-life health balance where I'm always moving forward in a positive direction in every aspect. So it's been great.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, we got to do this. So you gave us your cheat, because I think this is really important for our listeners. And then we're actually going to formally introduce you, Scott. But all right. So we're all going to tell what our cheat is, what we cannot live without. So I'm with you, Scott, on the red wine. And then it's buffalo chicken cheesesteak pizza. Don't ever take it away from me.
What is that?
Wow.
Isn't that awful?
That sounds amazing.
Oh, it is. We'll meet you in Downingtown one day, and we'll take you to the place that makes it.
I have
The
never
one
seen.
thing that I can't get taken away from me is Jennifer.
Oh, you smooth talking devil! Hey,
That's a
what
good
an
guy
answer.
right there.
On that note,
Lying.
on that note, you better get a room.
Thank God the kids have school today, right, guys?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly
Yeah, there's no snow here. We're gonna.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to.
Oh God! You know that my mother's in the other room listening to
Is
this.
she?
How dare you all?
Morning, Mrs. What's your mum called? I can't remember her name now. Bless her.
Carol.
Morning,
Good
Carol.
morning, Carol.
Morning, Carol. I'm waving at you now. Can you see me? If she answers back, that's worrying.
She can hear. She might be in the bathroom getting sick. No,
Oh, my
I'm
God.
joking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get to this. Well, David, what's your cheat going to be? Because now that you're on this healthy lifestyle, what's the one thing we can't take away from you?
One thing I can't. I don't know. I tell you what, I've got a penchant for, which was a nice word. Chocolate with Rice Krispies in it.
Ooh, yeah. Like we call that a crackle bar over here.
Do
right?
you? Right. Yeah, I've got this. Yeah, there's something about. I have that and a cup of tea. And it's
Well, it's interesting. Every time my kids get like candy and those are in there, they don't like them. So we'll just have to collect them and
Don't
we'll
they?
send them over to you.
right. They're coming right over here. I'll give you the address. After that, will be sent with in a food aid box.
We'll send you an Easter present, David.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All
big
right,
gang
guys.
like
So
that.
let's get to this because our listeners are going, who in the world is this Scott guy on here? He sounds awesome and we don't know who he is. So we're going to tell you right now. So Scott is an internationally acclaimed and award-winning network marketer. He's also an author and speaker, and Scott Aaron is the go-to specialist when it comes to converting traffic, establishing connections, and creating residual income using LinkedIn and building personal brands. He has helped His program has helped thousands of network marketers, entrepreneurs, and individuals experience explosive growth following his program, which is called LinkedIn Accelerator. And I will tell you guys, that is how we actually got to know Scott. So I just want to tell you a quick story about that. Scott reached out to me through LinkedIn. We connected on there. We had a call, and I was so impressed not only by his ability to help people grow their LinkedIn network and establish businesses on there and actually create conversions, but I was so impressed by his health and wellness background. And so immediately there was just this larger connection with us, and we knew that we had to join forces with this guy and be able to help others out there. And so we're so excited to have you on this morning, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Because we want to talk to people about your journey in the fitness industry, and then also get into how you're helping people out there that are in all sorts of businesses with your LinkedIn program, because many of our listeners out there are entrepreneurs, or they're probably, because network marketing is so big, I would guarantee out of the 70,000 listeners on this morning, there are network marketers out there too, and we want to be able to help everybody grow not only in your health and wellness, but also in your businesses this morning. So let's just start right off, Scott, with how you got into the fitness industry. Give us some of your background.
Absolutely. And first of all, I just wanted to say thank you again for having me on. And there's synergistic things that happen when you connect with people. And that's why I love LinkedIn so much. And it led me to you guys. We hit it off right away. And just, I'm really, really grateful to continue to work with you guys in this fashion now. So just thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
So, I always keep things raw and real when I share my story, because I believe that vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths that you can possess. So I never hold back from how I got to where I am now and the road that I had to go down. So the backstory about my health and wellness journey is a very non-conventional one. It's very unorthodox. I didn't work out my whole career. I wasn't in the gym at 10 years old. It wasn't one of those things. Arnold Schwarzenegger was not my mentor. My father was my mentor. He was into health and wellness, but I was a normal kid. I was an athlete, played all sorts of sports. And my father's dream was to have a gym. And he was an entrepreneur. He owned a lot of businesses. And when I was around 17, he had made the jump from being a business owner, but also running a company with someone else, to opening up his first gym. And he did it with the help of my two grandfathers at the time. And I didn't really know, it was just a huge shift for my family, because it was just completely different. And my background was more into being a hippie. I used to travel around the country following a band called Fish when I actually had hair. It was a big afro, and that was my passion. I used to drive around with friends, and we used to go see shows all over the country. So I was the furthest thing from healthy and the furthest thing from a wellness professional.
Right.
Wow, okay.
So everything kind of came to a head after my freshman year of college at the University of Pittsburgh. I was 18 going on 19. And my father sat myself and my sister down, who's 3 years younger than me. She was about 15 or 16 at the time. And it was during the summer, and it was a family talk, and we were sitting in our backyard. And I remember it was, it's in Pennsylvania where we are, the fireflies are out. So we're all in the backyard. And he goes, listen, there's been some things that have happened over the last year from one of the companies that he was with, that he left. And he said that there is the potential for an FBI investigation for insurance fraud with a rehab corporation that he was partnered with before the gym. And there is the chance that he could get house arrest for about a year, which obviously threw us for a huge loop.
Yeah.
And it would require obviously some family help. So my father, cooperated with obviously the feds and making sure that everything was going to work out the best, not only for him, but for the family. And about a year later was the trial. And I remember that I had to write a letter to the judge, kind of not pleading for my dad, but sharing my story about what my dad meant to me. He was my baseball coach. He was at all my events. And we sat in the courtroom that day, And interestingly enough, nothing really hit me that this might not go the way that we had planned until I looked to my right, where it was the opposing side, and there was family sitting over there.
Right.
And I was like, okay, something's going on here. And, I remember at one point during the trial, my father started crying, and I've never seen my father cry. And he was, pleading. And by the end, the judge had sentenced him to 24 to 36 months in federal prison.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So this was a huge loss for my family, and because he was the glue, like he was the centerpiece to my family. And I remember we had to do some major preparing because I was in a whole other world at this point. I was not anywhere near what he was doing. And I remember, we were driving about a month later to take him to the federal prison in New Jersey where he went. And as we pulled up, he turned around to me and he said, "Now you're the man of the house."
Yep.
So at that point, I had to go from being his son to actually being the parent of the household because I had my mother and my sister to take care of.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I had to leave University of Pittsburgh. I re-enrolled in community college in Montgomery County and then ended up transferring to Temple so I could be closer to home. I moved back home. I lived in my basement and I started running the gym at 18 and a half. I went from never having any fitness experience, not working out, not running a business at all, to running $250,000 a year health club in Old City, Philadelphia. And that is how I entered into the wellness industry.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is an amazing story. I had, we've obviously known you for a little while now, but we had no idea the whole background on it. And
it's just, that really is an amazing story. And it's, besides, the emotional impact it had on you and how that changed your life is how it's shaped you today. And I'm sure you look back now and you probably, we all wish when we take a look back that I wish things would have changed and been a little bit different, but it shaped you in a way that is unprofound and it's made you the man that you are today.
I couldn't agree anymore because, everyone views their life in a different way. People could have, I've shared my story many times before, and I remember I was at this leadership training for a local company that I was doing a training for, and some of the people in the audience actually started to cry when I was sharing my story, and I had to stop, and I said, "Listen, it's okay if you're getting emotional, but I don't want you to feel bad for me because I'm telling my story, but I'm standing here today to tell this story." Right. So, your past does not define who and where you are right now. And when I was in the throes of my life, I didn't know any different. It's one thing if you become a victim and you become so overwhelmed with your story. I literally had to play with the cards that were in my hand. I had no other choice. My back was against the wall. I was 18 and a half. My dad said, "The gym is yours now." The papers were signed over. I bought the gym for $1. It was, in my name, and I was now a business owner. And when I took over the gym, there was about 325 members. Me and my mom would go see my dad on Saturdays. Myself and my sister would go see my dad on Sundays. So they had their time and we had our time.
Right.
And I remember every Sunday, I would print out all the reports of the gym, the new member signups, where the money was, and we would go over all the business stuff. And by the time my father got back home in 2001, the gym had grown from 325 members to 1,100. And
fantastic.
Thank you. And at that point, I knew that I had another skill. And obviously, I fell in love with the lifting aspect because, I was always a skinny kid, but I was always an athlete. And I was seeing all these people like working out and looking good and feeling good. And you can't help but to be inspired by being in that environment. So I started working out and I said, listen, if I'm going to work out, I can teach other people how to work out. And it was funny because it happened organically. I graduated college in 2002 from Temple. It took me 5 years, but, I'm glad that I finished.
You did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it. I was going to college full-time and running the gym. So I would be at school from 7 to 12, and then I would drive to the gym, and I'd be there from 12:30 to 9 every day. And this was at, 20, 21, 22 years old. And when my friends started to graduate in 2000, 2001, they started to move downtown to Philadelphia, and they knew that I had a gym. So I started working out my friends, and that's how the personal training side of my business actually came about. And what I really learned through this whole journey is that the things that happened to you actually happened for you, because there is a lesson to be learned from every single thing that happens every single day. So I'm always reflecting on how far I've come, because I have so many stories of things that I had to overcome. I know that no matter what happens day to day, I have the mindset and I have the heart set to move through it just like water.
That's exactly right.
That.
That is so important for our listeners, and what a great lesson. And you said something a few minutes ago that I think is so important. You said, our past does not define us, and you're exactly right. Our past does not define us, but how we respond to our past does define us. And you responded in a way that allowed you to move your life forward, right? You could have crumbled under the pressure. You could have gotten lost in it. You could have gotten, overwhelmed. You could have given up. You could have wallowed in the sorrow of everything going on. But instead, you did what needed to be done to take care of things.
Exactly
and that's pushed you forward to learn and grow. And you took that as an opportunity for growth in your life. Imagine where potentially your life would be if all of that hadn't happened, and you were, you spent all those college years following fish around and, with your big hair and all that stuff, right? I mean, your life would look completely different today.
The picture,
right?
that picture, I just can't imagine the picture.
Yeah,
After I know what
I'll
it
send
looks like.
I'll send you guys a picture. I mean,
we got to see an old picture.
I have a great side-by-side of my dad when he was my age. We both had afros at the same time in our life. It's really, really funny.
My God, I bet you look like the Stylistics, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Or the OJs. It's funny. Like, I mean, we, for two Jewish men, we had really good heads of hair. I mean, we're both bald now, and we're much better without hair. Trust me.
Oh, no.
That's great. Well, we just realized what time it is. We're having so much fun with you, Scott. We've got to take a mystery music break. But before we do, I've got to tell you guys real quick, we have got listeners on this morning in California. That means that it's 3:25 in the morning for them. So I want to give a huge shout out to Cynthia and Thane Murphy, our friends over at Assaged. And for those of you that have not checked them out, you have got to do that. They are over in California this morning. They're messaging me up a storm. They're loving the content. And I just want to give them a huge shout out for being awake with us at 3:30 in the morning.
Bless them. Are they sat up in bed listening?
They are.
Oh, God, how good. How much, I'm trying to think of the word, committed. That's commitment for you.
You have no idea. They're going to be on the show. So you'll get to hear from them soon. But anyway, on to our mystery music break.
Yeah. Well, name a band that begins with M.
Name a band that begins with M?
Yeah.
Eminem? I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Starts with an E.
Oh, it does. You're right. Well, the candy starts with M.
No. Go on. Second letter, A.
What?
Still can't
Metallic?
get it, can you? A third letter, R. M-A-R. Right? This is a band. M-A-R. Go on. You must be getting it. Yay! Thank God for that. I thought we were going to be here.
I like this game.
I thought we were going to be there till 1 o'clock getting that right.
Like Craig had a cup of coffee. Jeez.
Right, I'll be right back with the guys straight after this. This is Maroon 5 and give a little bit more. I was enjoying it that much I forgot to stop. Right, we're going back to the guys back in America this morning. On the hotline.
Listeners.
There you go. See, I was trying to get this blooming mouse to work, and I forgot about the music finishing then.
That's so funny. So everybody's just listening to our conversation over here behind the scenes. That's cool. Everybody got a behind the scenes look this morning.
Lovely.
I love it. Well, welcome back, everybody. So for those of you that do not know, we are here with Scott Aaron. All three of us are out in Philadelphia this morning, and Scott is not only a fitness professional, and he was once a bodybuilder, but now he also runs a program called the LinkedIn Accelerator. So we're talking about right now his journey in fitness. And the next thing we wanted to go over to, now that we're back, is your career in network marketing, because this is something we hear a lot about now. Everybody you talk to has got this and that, and, network marketing companies. And, a lot of times, and you're aware of this, so we're not saying anything you don't know, it gets a bad rap. But you have been quite successful in the network marketing industry. So I want to have you explain to our listeners what led you to actually say yes, and kind of what your journey there has been and how it's led you to where you are today.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, for the people listening, that I don't think there's anyone that hasn't been approached at some point by a friend that's doing network marketing. And what I can tell you is that it's a multiple billion-dollar industry. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. None of these companies would exist if they were illegal. It's just another form. It's word-of-mouth marketing. Instead of going to the mall, instead of going to Amazon, instead of going to your grocery store, there's people that house their own way of providing a service or a product to those around them, whether it's friends, family, or social media. So I was always, because of my story, I never had a boss. I mean, I had jobs when I was in high school, but I was always psychologically unemployable. I always ran my own business. I never envisioned the thought of even having a boss or working for someone. I always wanted to build my own dream. Right. So when I got into the throes of personal training, when I was at my peak, I was a personal trainer for close to 18 years. I put in about 65,000 hours of my career, literally personal training people from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., 5 days a week, half days on Saturdays, and I would only have Sunday off, and I would have to get back to it again on Monday. It became taxing on my body at a very young age. I started personal training at 20. So by the time I got to 33, 34, I was burnt to a crisp. And I remember a friend of mine who was also a wellness professional. He was also an NPC level bodybuilder. We were working out one day, and he didn't push network marketing on me. He just, I had heard of network marketing. I was never closed off to it. It just wasn't for me at the time. And he said to me, he goes, "What's your plan B?" And I said, "What do you mean, what's my plan B?" He said, "Well, all your eggs are in this basket. God forbid you get sick or injured, or the gym doesn't work out. What do you have to fall back on?"
Right.
And I said, "Oh no." And I at that point, I realized I had nothing else. I had all my chips in on the only thing I knew how to do, which was to train people. And here was the big thing. I was going through a very stressful and anxiety-ridden time because I started to feel like I was handcuffed to my clientele. Because in order for me to eat, to live, to purchase things, I had to train people. My clients basically ran my life, and I loved my clients, but if they got sick, I didn't get paid. If they got injured or went on vacation or canceled, I didn't get paid. If I went on vacation, which was never, because a week off for a personal trainer is a week off of money, and I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
Right.
So he said, "Listen, you should take a look at this opportunity. Great products. They work. If you don't like the stuff, you can send it back, but this could be great for your clients. It could be great for the friends around you. It could be great for your gym members." I said, "You know what? I have nothing to lose, because here's the mentality I've always had. I'm not going to listen to the ones that have never done it. I'm going to listen to the ones that are doing it and are succeeding." And the other thing is, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. So I'm willing to take the risks to reap the reward. And I didn't even see this as a risk. I was already going to GNC, Vitamin Shop, bodybuilding.com, spending hundreds of dollars a month on that stuff.
Yep.
So now I was going to be able to have my own supplement store.
Right. Well, it's interesting to me, Scott, it's funny that you say that because people will say, well, they have a problem with the whole network marketing thing. And I'm like, but really, is it any different? When I go into GNC and I buy something, right, then GNC gets a profit from that. So, and the guy working at GNC or girl generally has no idea what they're talking about because there's so many supplements in the store, they can't possibly know them all. So they can't possibly recommend to me exactly what might be good for my body. And they normally don't know anything about the products. So now if I come to somebody like Scott, whatever you want to call it, network marketing or not, Scott knows the product inside and out. He can recommend specifically what's good for my body. And yes, Scott is making a profit from it because he's a business owner. But why is that any different? Why is that worse than GNC making a profit? I've never understood people's mindset behind that, of why they think that it's bad, because in every business, there are layers of people that make money, right? So the guy selling you the product in GNC is probably going to make a commission off of it. I don't know if they're commission paid or not, but he's at least getting paid an hourly rate that comes out of the profits. And then GNC as a business is going to make the money. And then the supplement companies are making money. So no matter where you buy a product anywhere in the world, there are multiple layers of people that make a profit from that.
So
no different than in network marketing.
It's interesting you say that. I actually, for the listeners that are on right now, I want you to do an exercise after this is done. What I want everyone to do is I want you to write a list of 5 to 10 different restaurants, books, or movies that you've ever recommended anyone to go eat at, read, or watch. Because people don't realize they're network marketing every single day.
And they're just not getting paid for it.
They're not getting paid for it. So if you've ever gone to a restaurant, you've said, Scott, you got to try this restaurant. Best food in the world. I'm going to go, but that restaurant is not sending you a check in the mail. Or you got to read this book, go on to Amazon. The author gets paid, but you get nothing. Or when you go see a movie, the Black Panther came out, everyone's talking about it. Black Panther makes all the money, but you're not, or the movie theater is making all the money and you're not. So everyone is a natural network marketer. They're just choosing not to get paid for it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And by the way, there are also opportunities out there for listeners. You may not, even if you don't join a network marketing company, there are plenty of opportunities out there to become affiliates of different businesses. So if there are products and services that you use every day in your life that you tell other people about, you can actually become an affiliate of that company to sell it if you have your own website for your business and that sort of thing. So there are so many ways that we can actually generate different sources of income in our lives that most people are not aware of. I never had thought about becoming an affiliate of other businesses until I started my own business. And then it was like, wow, well, I'm going to recommend my clients buy all these different products. Why not be affiliates of them?
Exactly. You're not going to recommend something unless you love it and it works for you. And that's how my network marketing journey started. At the same time when I said yes, I was hurting physically. I was not sleeping well. My energy was low. I was in shape but not healthy. And literally within 10 days of getting on the program, putting the products in my body, starting to nutritionally cleanse, I literally woke up. And I knew if I felt that good after 10 days being a top-level health and wellness professional, that it could do amazing things for the everyday person. And I then started just doing the natural thing. When we like something, we talk about it. So I started talking about it. Mm-hmm. And in doing that over a 2-year period, part-time, in the pockets of time I had in my life, I actually built a residual income that matched my full-time income as a personal trainer. Now, that's the story, but it's not the passion. My passion then became teaching, mentoring, and showing anyone who is ready for a real change in their life, how they can use a secondary source of residual income to better their life, to pay some bills, to pay down their student loans, to have an education fund for their kids. That is where my real passion was. But the big aha moment actually came about 2 months in, and it was completely unexpected. I actually was on my first vacation in about 5 years. My son, who's going to be 6 in September, was about 8 or 9 months at the time, and he was crawling around in the sand, and I got a notification on my phone from the company that I partnered with that I had just earned $600 that week. And it wasn't the amount of money that mattered most. Honestly, it could have been 60 cents. It was the fact that that was the first time ever at that point, my 15-year career in the health and wellness industry, that I ever earned $1 not personal training a client and not being stuck at my gym. And my eyes opened up and I said, there is a whole other world of business out there, and I haven't stopped since. I was able to close my last health club, retire from personal training in July of 2016, and I've launched 2 other businesses after that, and I'm really living a dream right now. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, I can definitely tell. I mean, your passion is so obvious. I mean, it really is. And it's just coming right through. And the energy that you've got, okay, is absolutely phenomenal. So, I mean, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that and some of your other business. But we are going to go to one of those mystery music breaks, all right, that is going to be coming up. And actually, it's not. Wait a minute. Hold on. We've got the next song is actually by Robin Thicke, and I Love You.
No longer a mystery.
No.
And Scott this morning, live in Philadelphia. We're going to get back in touch with him now, live on the show. It's nearly lunchtime already, and I'm getting peckish. Talking about nutrition and food is making me even more hungry.
David's back.
We're back with the guys now, live this morning, afternoon even. Well, it's morning your time. I keep forgetting.
It is morning our time.
And the middle of the night, the middle of the night in California, when people are set up listening to us in bed.
Yeah. Amazing. There you go.
They're awesome. They're awesome over there.
So we've got Scott Aaron on, okay, from about 45 minutes away from us in Philadelphia. And we are talking, I mean, he's got so much energy and passion for what he does, and the stories that he has is truly amazing. And, the one thing that I keep on picking up in is the mindset, is the health part. And we all know, and that's how we've really gravitated towards Scott a lot because of, how he really views life. And he just keeps on going and going. He's like the little Energizer bunny. And whenever we look at some of the businesses that he's created, one of them, and which is how we really got to know Scott, is in regards to LinkedIn. And, so the question is, how has, social media, especially LinkedIn, play a role in your personal and professional success, Scott?
That's a great question. And, there are still people that are resistant to social media because they don't want their public life out there, and there is a way to use social media. So it's so funny because everything that's ever happened for me with what I've done in my career, if someone would have told me 5 years ago, you would join a network marketing company, you would close your gym and retire from personal training and teach other entrepreneurs and business owners how to build their business through the power of LinkedIn, I would have said you're crazy. Mm-hmm. But that is exactly what happened. So when I started with network marketing, I got very good at Facebook. I still love Facebook, use it all the time. I have a great following on there. But I was looking to have a bigger impact. And it actually happened when I listened to something by Robin Sharma. And Robin Sharma, for those that don't know him, he wrote his first book was called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Great book. He also wrote a book called The Leader That Has No Title. And he's got a great podcast on iTunes, but on YouTube as well, called The Mastery Sessions. And he said, if you want to make millions, you have to go find a way to help millions. If you want to make billions, then you need to find and create a way to help billions. And it's not that I'm not motivated by money, because I am, because the more wealth that you have, the more you can do with it. Provide a better life for my son.
Exactly.
Provide a better life for myself. I have goals and aspirations of starting a foundation, and I'm big into philanthropy. I love giving back. I love helping people. And when I saw the limited space that I was in on Facebook, I said, where else can I go to really start prospecting, connecting, conversing, and building rapport with people? And LinkedIn popped into my mind. I had an account. I wasn't using it, so I just jumped on there. And over a 2-year period, from February of 2016 to February currently of 2018, I created the exact way that a network marketer, entrepreneur, online business owner should be using LinkedIn to create more conversations, conversions into their business that creates more wealth. And in a 2-year span, I've gone from 500 connections to almost 24,000. I have multiple connections and conversations every single day. It's tripled my income, and I'm now doing the same for other people, much like when I worked with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite amazing. And I love what you said back there too. I just want to highlight that again, that, we don't necessarily have to be driven and motivated by money for ourselves, because a lot of people say, well, I just really am not. I don't need any more than I have. But the more money that we have personally, the more that we can help other people. I have so many different organizations and charities and people that I would love to help. And the more money that is flowing in, the more that I can send that back out to help others. And the more that you can really make significant changes in the world. And I think that's where, a lot of people, just need to look at it sometimes a little bit differently when they say, well, I don't need more. Well, I don't really need more either, but boy, can I create a difference in other people's lives, with different charitable work. And if we have more, we can do more. And I think that that's such an important point to just drive home with listeners.
Yeah, my buddy Chris Harder says you have to be unapologetic for wanting to create wealth for yourself. And it's the truth. You can't apologize for wanting a big house. You can't apologize for wanting a nice car. You can't apologize to want to go on vacation all the time. You can't. And when I talk to people and they're like, it's not about the money, I just like helping people. So I play devil's advocate. I say, well, then do it for free. And they're like, well, I still have to pay my bills and stuff. And I'm like, so then you are doing it for the money because you have responsibilities. I never wanted to just get by. I wanted to live and create the best life possible. And everyone else out there, deep in their heart and soul, wants that same thing, but they have too much junk in their head holding them back and they're not stepping into that power, so they're not making it happen. Anyone can do it. I am not an anomaly. You guys are not an anomaly. We just wanted it that bad that we were willing to do whatever it took and still takes to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you keep on talking about the junk in your head. I mean, you said it at the beginning when we started talking, about mindset. You're talking about it. You've talked about it in the middle. You've talked about it now. But, I mean, that's one of the things that, we talk about a lot because it is the glue that puts everything together. I mean, we talk about nutrition. We talk about movement. But the mindset, which is, the third piece, is the glue that puts it all together. And that's what you've got to get right. And that's what you've got it right, because you have got the positive mindset, the right mindset to get out of your head, because there's too much junk in people's heads. They've got to throw things out. It's just like when you look at people's houses. They've got so much junk in their basement, in their garage. I think, I think America is, one of the few countries that has enough storage units outside to store stuff, than any other place in the world.
Right.
And we do the same thing with our heads. And you just got to say, listen, I don't need that extra storage. Let's get it out. Let's focus on what we really need to focus on.
There was a great audio that I listened to about 3.5 years ago that really started driving home that your mind controls everything. And it was by Earl Nightingale, and it's called The Strangest Secret. It's about a 45-minute audio. You can buy the book. It's only about 35 pages. And there was one line in the book and in the audio, and he said, what you think about most often each day is what you become. Yep. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, oh my God, if I keep thinking negatively, if I keep thinking in lack, if I keep thinking not prosperously, if I keep thinking I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm not going to be able to achieve, I'm never going to get there, then guess what? I'm never going to. So it's not about faking it till you make it. No. But I'm a big believer that you have to have the millionaire and billionaire mindset first, and then the money will show up. Because think about all the people that win the lottery. A good percentage of them end up losing all of the money because their mindset was never there. People automatically go back to the way that they're used to living. So they spend all of it, spend all of it, spend all of it, and then they're back to square one 2 years later. So if you have the mindset and you choose to be positive, to be forward thinking, to be motivated, to be driven, to be inspired, to be enlightened, everything in your life gets better. And the one main thing that I really had to change was my circle of influence. I still have all of my friends that I've been friends with since the second grade, my college buddies. I have different pockets of friends, but people like you, who I consider my circle of influence, those are the people that you need to stay close to. Those are the people that you need to follow. Those are the people that you need to be influenced by to move forward, to learn the things that they're doing. So success leaves clues. So if you're on the beach, you see footsteps going in the right direction, just walk in those footsteps, because you will be there when you are ready.
Yep. Who you surround yourself with is who you become.
That's exactly.
And, just like your thoughts. And, some people just think, when they think of mindset, they just think of positive mindset. But it's really so much more than that, because it's truly the thoughts that you're thinking over and over again. If you sit quietly, listen to your thoughts. We have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. And over 90% of them are negative for most people. And they're stuck in their past, or they're worrying about the future. And so those are the thoughts that are controlling their life and really influencing who they're becoming. So we really have to focus in on changing those thought patterns that people are having. And it takes work. And that's one of the things that Craig and I do in our business, as you know. And it's so important, because when we can change those thought patterns, when we can break the negative cycle, and when we also prevent other people from throwing trash in our head all the time, and that's based on who we're surrounding ourselves with, that's when we really start to see the change of pattern.
Absolutely. I mean, there's something called the garbage truck effect, where, there's all these garbage trucks going around each day, and people are trying to dump their garbage on you. And then what do? We take on other people's garbage, and then we look to dump it on other people. And we're just passing around garbage to this person, garbage to that person. Mm-hmm. So what if we stopped taking on people's garbage? We just kind of said, no, you can't dump your... The thing is one of my business coaches taught me very early on, when someone is dumping on you, and they're telling you that there's something they don't like about you, or you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that wrong, he said it's a reflection of something that they don't like in themselves, that they see in you that they wish they had. That's and exactly that was a big aha moment, because people get jealous, and I never try to gloat or to make people jealous. I know for a fact that everyone has the capability and the possibility to live the best life possible. They are just choosing to succumb to the story of their past and make it their present and make it their future. So I never forget my past, because my past is what's moving me forward into my future, so I can control my present. That's what it's about. So if you don't allow that noise to affect you anymore, and you learn the lesson from it, you have no choice but to move forward in a positive direction. And that's by choice.
That is so awesome, Scott. And I hate to cut you off there, because you were on a roll, and it's awesome. But we are going to have to finish up here. And I just want everybody to know that we are going to put the connection information for Scott on our Facebook page. So you can go to the Craig and Jenny D Facebook page. You can check out everything about Scott there. We are going to bring you back on another week, because we have so much more to talk about in everything that you've done in your life and what you have to offer people. So we are going to finish up now with our final song, which is the Corrs and Stay. So thank you so much, Scott, for being on this morning. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Have yourselves a great day. And thanks to everybody that's up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Thanks, Cynthia and Thane, for being on with us this morning in California.
All right.
Love you guys.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Scott, and speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you, Craig and Jenny. As always, you guys are amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott.